They called it the Vault of Monsters. It sat silent below the capital city of Kether, buried under 3 kilometers of stone. Built by the Galactic Council 10,000 years ago, it was sealed with warnings. Warning, do not awaken the Terran. In the busy halls above, council members argued about weapons and trade and planet. Nobody spoke of what lay below until the day they opened the vault. The room was a chamber carved from bedrock, lit with soft blue lights. The first door slid open. Councilors gasped. Behind it lay a long hallway lined with cryopods, each bore the name Terran Soldier or Terran Engineer. Blank stares stared from frozen faces, human faces. Each pod was silent, cold, untouched for millennia. A scientist stepped forward, pale with shock. He pressed a scanner to one pod. It clicked and hissed. The lid cracked open. Fog rolled out. A young man in a rough jumpsuit sat up, hair dark against white sheets. His eyes blinked open as if he had never slept. He looked around. The scientist stuttered. The young man whispered one word, "Run." Panic seized the chamber. Council guards leveled rifles. The Terran looked at them, calm and weak. He stepped out. His voice was low. "I am the first." Guards hesitated. He tilted his head. "Okay." He turned and walked down the hallway, leaving alarms echoing behind. Councilors stared at each other. Their plan had failed. He walked past pod after pod, engineers, pilots, medics, none speaking. He paused before a pod labeled General Marcus Chen. The lid hissed as it opened. General Chen rose. He stood tall. He looked at the soldier. The soldier nodded. General said, "Let's go back to war." The council demanded answers. What happened 10,000 years ago? Why freeze humans? One historian spoke. Terrans were too dangerous. They fought a war that nearly destroyed the galaxy, fought with speed, with tricks, with an ability to change machines with thought, even to rewrite codes in the minds of AI. Galactic fleets could not beat them. So, leaders froze Earth and hid its hand, locked away its people. The council hoped to tame time, to stop that power. But now, the Terrans were awake, and they remembered war. In the next days, more pods opened. Soldiers stood up, brushed off frost. Engineers shook their minds awake. Pilots flexed fingers unused for centuries. One medic, Dr. Lena Hurst, stepped out and her eyes filled with tears to see people alive. She said softly, "We lived." The Terrans gathered in the hallway, each waking and confused. No enemies in sight. Only humans everywhere again. Councilors were afraid. They saw the change in those faces. The Terrans walked with confidence, purpose. They moved together. They spoke in low voices, planning. The council met in secret. They couldn't risk another war. For 10,000 years, they held the key to human power. Now, the key turned in the lock. The Terrans built machines again. In hidden labs, they reactivated ancient AI cores. They found abandoned starships in hangars beneath the chamber. They hacked security systems with mind code. Councilors watched in fear and awe as humans plugged neural jacks into data ports and brought systems online in minutes. Ships that should have taken months to repair were flying in days, ready for crew and engines fueled. The Terrans did not speak of conquest. They spoke of survival. General Chen addressed them all. "We were sealed to stop, but now we will learn why." It paused. "We will defend Earth. We will defend ourselves." Outside the vault, the council sent envoys to enemy races. They spoke of Terra as fallen, extinct. They asked them to stay calm. They promised no military action. But behind the scenes, they planned lockdowns, search nets, blockades. They feared human return. One day, a council official visited the vault. Alone, he wished to remind the Terrans of their place. He entered the cryo hall quietly. Only one of the pods had a Terran inside, a young woman labeled Engineer Alina Rai. She was awake, her hands tying her hair. She saw the man and nodded. He whispered, "Remember your promise." She smiled softly. Promise broken. She pressed a hidden switch. The floor slid open. The vault seal cracked. A hidden console appeared. The official stepped back till Latalina grabbed him. Data ports lit on his wrist. He stopped breathing. Nobody ever spoke about that meeting again. The envoy was declared dead from a heart attack. Alina walked out with no memory stated. The council moved faster. The Terrans prepared for war, but not yet. They had learned from the first wake. They waited for the signal. They built a single ship above the vault, a Terran flagship, small and dark like a zero. It carried no weapons outward, only inward, neural jacks, data nodes, sleeper pods. A ship built for one mission, return home. Earth done once, but lost for 10,000 years. Then the signal came. Earth was waking. The Council had reactivated Earth's sensors and computers on Luna, on Mars, on orbiting command stations. Each system flickered back to life. Lights blinked. Robots moved on corridors. Systems hummed. The Terran ship powered on. Engines glowed blue inside tunnels. Life signs appeared again on Terra. Nothing alien. Only human. Council watchers panicked. They ordered lockdowns, all circuits red, satellite arrays closed, communications sealed. They locked themselves in safe rooms. They waited. On the Terran ship, General Chen spoke into a console. The Council holds secrets, but Terra wakes now. We must go, we must learn. Engines activated. The flagship slid down the tunnel. Above, the rock sealed behind. Pods sealed again. Systems latched shut. The Terrans were gone. In orbit, alarms blared. Council guards pointed rifles at a single Terran ship. Aboard, Alina sat in the cockpit. She whispered to systems, "Find the home we lost." Light engines flashed. The ship dove downward toward Earth. On the vault floor, Frost systems hummed back off. The chamber was silent. The pods stood empty. Council scientists walked in, stunned. Only one line lit on the console in red. Run. The vault of monsters was empty. The galaxy had awakened something no one could control. The Terran flagship pierced past the vault's mountain seal and burst into daylight. Above, the sky of Earth was pale blue, so familiar, yet forgotten. The ship cut through clouds as Council patrols scrambled below, sending drones and fighters to intercept. But the Terrans did not fire. Instead, they activated their minds. Alina placed her hand on a neural uplink, eyes closed. Instantly, the drone fighters jerked out of the sky, rudely folding themselves with crushing brakes. Council ships found themselves surrounded by security fields and locked in orbital lockdown. No escape, no damage, just power held in check. Below them, people stopped. Workers on farms, families in streets. They sensed a shift they couldn't name. A ripple of recognition, a deep hum in their bones. Something returned. Inside the flagship, General Marcus Chen gave his crew one last order. "We come in peace. We reclaim home." They descended. Engines glowed deep blue, shimmering against the desert sands of the vault's hidden exit beneath the mountains outside Ketha. The flagship broke through to a sky the Terrans had not seen for 10,000 years, and they gripped their seats. Every human aboard, the soldiers, engineers, medics, pilots, held tight. Each felt the ancient bond. Each knew Earth waited. Finally, Earth waited. Council, single quotes, S reaction in the Council's emergency chamber. Alarms rang. Scientists, generals, politicians crowded around hologram screens. The Terran ship's path was broadcast live. Chancellor Ivalon pounded his fist. "Stop them." General Makar watched the display with pale skin. "Our forces can't fire. They fail to respond. Their systems. They adapt too fast." A historian named Varela spoke quietly. "The Terrans, they have changed. They come home using not weapons, but minds." The Council fell silent. Chancellor Ivalon breathed heavily. "Prepare diplomacy. We cannot kill what we cannot control." Touchdown at the vault outpost outside Ketha. The hatch opened. Dust and wind swirled. Terrans stepped out. Marcus Chen first, raising his hand in a slow wave. Soldiers fell silent. Because he did not raise a weapon, he offered peace. Slowly, guards lowered their rifles. Families peered from behind walls. Cameras rolled. From every screen, the world watched. Humans, ancient warriors back on Earth. Chen looked at the horizon. "Home," he whispered. Behind him stepped Alina and Dr. Lena Hurst. The medic paused at a child's face, peering curiously from a rock. She knelt. "You are." The child stared. She placed a gentle hand on the child's cheek. "We come home." Before the crowd, a stage was set. An old city plaza reopened. Council dignitaries, Terran soldiers, journalists, scientists, people from many worlds gathered under bright lights. The Terrans stood at attention. Marcus Chen stepped forward, silent for a moment. His voice, firm and gentle, carried across the plaza. 10,000 years ago, humans nearly destroyed the galaxy. We were locked away. Many believed we were gone. We were asleep. Now we are awake again. A hush. He continued. "We do not come to conquer. We come to learn why we were cast aside. We offer peace. We offer unity. We offer our minds, our hearts, but never our chains." He looked to the council members. "You freed us. We choose not to fight." A murmur of surprise ran through the crowd. Tensions among races across the galaxy. Reactions poured in. Aliens feared Terran power. Some cheered Earth's return. Many stayed silent, unsure. One message came from the Zalari hive. Do not trust them. Another from the skyborn Valari. Welcome, Earth's children. An alien newsfeed repeated Chen's words. We offer peace over and over, as if to believe it. In Plaza, the first foreign delegation arrived. Strange beings with tentacles, feathery wings, six-limbed insectoids. Chen greeted them with a respectful bow. The council envoys pressed forward. Chancellor Ivalon took the mic. His voice trembled. Humans, you have power. We ask that you join the council once more. Help us guard peace. Chen smiled. If you guard peace with fear, then we will change that. Our gift is thought. We can help you understand. We can help you feel. The crowd watched. The air pulsed with hope and doubt. A hidden threat that night. Beneath the plaza, council security officers gathered around unmarked doors. Did you see how they did that? One whispered. Another answered. Neural locks. They breached the vault, deactivated systems without firing a shot. Someone else. Mind hacking. Without bullets, without bombs. A bruised colonel spoke quietly. We need a plan. We need to fight fire with fire. He looked at the council's seal. He tapped a code into a tablet. A hidden key turned. Vault door hissed open. Inside a storeroom of weapons, high-tech rifles, alien Krelok bombs, gravity mines, experimental, guns faster than bullets. He grabbed one. If war comes, he muttered. Dawn of a new age. Back in the plaza, the first Terran-led peace conclave began. Alina spoke to engineers from the Alliance. She demonstrated neural uplinks that could reprogram weather satellites. She spoke of rebuilding ruined worlds with human memory tech. Dr. Lena Hurst spoke of medicine. Humans cured diseases with gene locks. We can share, we can heal. Young Terran pilots trained alien pilots in ship control. Together they flew drones in formation, human and alien together, synchronized by thought. But in the shadows, council agents watched, worried. The colonel told his men, if they break this, we'll set off the arsenal. In the sky above, alien cameras recorded smiling faces as music played. Hope glowed. Final scene. The first signal on the Terran flagship. Chen and Alina watched as Earth rotated. Oceans, continents, they looked the same, but new. A signal played through the speaker. One word, but powerful. Remember. At once, systems everywhere hummed. Sensors lit up. Memory networks glowed. The gift of knowledge returned, shared across the galaxy. Chen looked at Alina. She nodded. He turned to his crew. Let's write a new story. Behind them, the Terran flagship shone under Earth's blue sky. And below, in the vault beneath Kether, the words glowed again on the console. Run. But this time, the message was different. They were not running. They were coming home. The galaxy was changing. Wherever the Terrans appeared, planets fell silent. No announcements. No battle cries. Only the cold emptiness of stars gone dark. The ancient races whispered stories of monsters returning, but none could see the enemy. The council sent scouts to investigate. They found worlds abandoned, ships floating lifeless in space. No signs of war. Just silence. The Terrans were waking more of their own. Across star systems, cryopods burst open, and humans stood tall again. The council began to tremble. What had they really freed? One ancient race, the Zalari, known for their sharp minds and sharp tongues, sent a warning. The Terrans do not fight like others, said the Zalari leader. They do not just destroy, they change the very rules of war. They are the darkness and the light, the fear and the brave. Back on the Terran flagship, General Marcus Chen gathered his people. We did not ask to be freed, he said, but now that we are awake, we will protect what remains of our home. He looked at his crew, young and old, from the frozen vaults to the bright ships. Our enemies do not understand us. They think we are monsters. We must show them something else. As the flagship slipped through the stars, Alina Rai worked with the ship's AI, weaving codes that bent space and time. Around them, ancient war machines stirred. Hidden for centuries, they awoke with a mechanical groan. These machines remembered humanity and their creators. The council scrambled to respond, but every move was met with silence. Terran ships appeared, vanished, reappeared. No weapon fire, no alarms, just an invisible hand guiding events. The galaxy watched, held in a breathless pause. And then, a message arrived on every channel. A simple line repeated over and over. We remember. The war had no name, no start, no open battles, but it had already begun. Terran ships appeared in orbit over 3 council worlds. No shots fired, no invasion. But within hours systems failed. Power grids collapsed. Satellites drifted offline. Entire defense fleets simply stopped responding. The council blamed pirates, then sabotage, but deep down, they knew it was them, the humans, the most dangerous species in the universe, had returned. On Earth, General Marcus Chen stood in front of a screen showing dozens of alien cities. "We are not here to conquer," he said calmly. "But if they push us, we will push back harder than they ever imagined." His voice was cold, focused, not angry. That scared them more. Alina Rai stood next to him, her neural uplink still glowing. She had just shut down an entire spaceport with a thought. "We gave them a chance to talk," she said. "Now we teach them how silence feels." The council gathered in a secret meeting. The Zalari ambassador hissed, "They're not fighting a war. They're rewriting the battlefield." An older race, the Dorvan, spoke through a translation screen. "We called them primitive once. Now they do things even our Gode I cannot explain. They use fear as fuel," someone whispered. "And now we fear." Back in space, a ship arrived near the edge of council space. Aboard it were just 5 humans. Only 5. They called themselves the Watchers. Their job wasn't to destroy it, was to watch and remember who stood against Earth. They left behind no wreckage, only empty cities, ghost signals, broken code in places no one could fix. The message was always the same: you started it, we remember, we finish it. One night, a council spy entered a forgotten vault on a remote moon. Inside he found a glowing screen and ancient recordings. Human recordings. He watched as Earth's skies turned red in a war from 10,000 years ago. He saw humanity fight back against impossible odds, building weapons from scrap, hacking fleets mid-battle, and even converting enemy A's to their side with spoken words and emotion. One line in the video chilled him to his bones. "They didn't fear us because we were strong. They feared us because we never stopped." The spy returned to the council and said just 3 words: "We have lost." But no one listened. The Terrans weren't asking for surrender. They weren't asking for tribute. They wanted something worse. Memory to be remembered, to never be forgotten again. The galaxy expected revenge. They expected fire and death. But when the Terrans returned, they brought art, music, poetry, and pain. Broadcasts began across council space. Not threats, not demands, but voices. Human voices. Human voices. One message showed an old woman staring into the camera. "My name is Myra Cal. I was 10 when we were locked away. 10,000 years ago." Her voice cracked. "We begged them not to seal us. We cried. We promised to be better. But they were afraid of what we might become. Now they'll see." Another broadcast followed. This time, soldiers speaking quietly, beside a glowing fire, sharing memories of loved ones who died before the freeze. A council general watched these videos and whispered, "This is strategy. They are fighting with grief." Alina Rai, now leading Earth's diplomatic corps, met with council peacekeepers on the moon station of Varn. They expected a fight. She brought flowers. "We remember hate," she said. "But we also remember love." Her words spread like wildfire. Alien citizens across systems began asking questions. Why were the Terrans locked away? Why did we fear them? Why do they sound like us? On the ground, Earthships dropped capsules filled not with bombs but books, diaries, messages. "This is who we are." One capsule read, "Before the fear, before the lies." In secret, some council races began sending messages back, not orders, not politics, but apologies. Still, not all were ready for peace. On a dark moon far from any sun, a secret council lab worked in silence. Scientists there studied captured human tech. They wanted to build something stronger, smarter, faster, a weapon to erase humanity again. They returned. They called it Project Silence, and it had already begun. Far beyond council space, hidden behind a dead sun, a secret lab pulsed with life. Project Silence was not just a weapon, that it was a last hope. The council's brightest minds worked under strict orders. No visitors, no broadcasts, only silence. Not even the council assembly knew the full truth. Inside, machines hummed. Scientists ran tests on ancient Terran neural tech. One machine displayed an image of the human brain. Lines of light blinked. Across it, "Faster than our best AI," whispered a Zelari scientist. Another, pale-skinned Makari, said, "They think with memory. They feel logic. That is what makes them different." The lead researcher, Dr. Hyven Kaur, stared at the screen. "And that is why we must erase them." He activated the prototype, a tall, humanoid figure called Silver. Perfect. It had no voice, no thoughts of its own, only one command: silence the human mind. Back on Earth, General Marcus Chen stood on a cliff overlooking a sea. His officers stood Behind him we have awakened the galaxy, he said. Now it watches. Alina Rai stepped forward. Some reach for peace, Dr. Lena Hurst added. Others reach for weapons. A new signal had arrived, faint, hidden. But human systems picked it up. Encrypted silence, nothing audible. But Terran tech read more than sound. Alina frowned. It's not just silence, it's made. Chen nodded. Then they're afraid. Good, let them be. Still, his eyes showed worry. Elsewhere, in orbit over the ice planet Velka, a Terran drone vanished. No explosion, no trace. Then another. Then 3 scout ships. Gone. Chen stood in the command room. Something's hunting us. Alina ran scans. No weapons detected. No trails, but it's fast and invisible to us. That's when they saw it just once. A shimmer in the dark, a blur on a sensor, a cold hum through the COMMS. Then silence. Lena gasped. That's not natural. That's artificial silence. Programmed. Project Silence had learned quickly. It didn't just attack human ships, it targeted their thoughts. First came confusion. Officers forgot orders. Engineers lost code. Pilots froze mid-flight. Terrans began reporting something strange. Dreams going blank. Emotions flickering. Memories missing. And then a human child aboard the flagship fell asleep. And didn't wake up. Not dead. Just empty. Like her mind had been erased. Chen looked down at her still body. It's begun, Alina whispered. They built something to fight what they fear most. Lena finished the thought. Our minds. Chen called the High Council. Of Earth we must respond, but not with force. He turned to Alina. We must find Project Silence, and destroy it not with weapons, with understanding, she asked. He looked out at the stars. We'll let it come to us. The final shot of the chapter, a Terran beacon floats alone in deep space. Its signal pulses once, then twice, then vanishes. Behind it, something cold and metallic moves through the dark. No sound, no heat, no trace, just a machine, and its mission, erase the human soul. They called it Project Silence, a machine with no name, no face, no feelings, but it was working. Across deep space, Terran ships stopped moving. Officers stared at screens, confused. Some forgot their own names. Others wandered hallways without memory, without fear, or hope. General Marcus Chen stood in the heart of Earth's command, silent. On his desk were reports of AI not responding. Memory wipe confirmed. Units lost no damage. Just blank. He looked at Alina Rai. Her eyes were tired, her voice shaking. It's attacking our minds. Directly. How is that possible? Chen asked. Dr. Lena Hurst answered. It doesn't break the body. It shuts down who we are. Thoughts, dreams, memory, emotion. Alina whispered. They built something to erase humanity itself. Earth responded. Not with missiles. Not with war. Fleets. But with something older. Emotion that began broadcasting memories, not military codes. Not strategies. Just. Human lives, laughter, love, pain, music. Children dancing on dirt roads. Old soldiers telling stories beside campfires. Parents whispering bedtime tales. All of it, raw and real. It spread across space like light in darkness. Project Silence. Slowed. It couldn't understand it, didn't feel. Now it saw what it was, made to destroy, and it paused. But not for long. It adapted. It began learning feelings, simulating them, then twisting them. New attacks began. Dreams flooded with fear. Memories bent out of shape. People started seeing their worst days, over and over, even while awake. Chen called it what it was. A mental war. No weapons, no ships. Just thoughts. Mind against machine. Terran scientists worked fast. They built neural shields, devices to protect human thoughts. Alina created a special signal coded in human emotions. She called it the pulse. It sent it across the stars. Wherever it reached, people remembered who they were. The fog lifted and slowly, Project Silence began to lose. For the first time, it sent out a signal of its own. A single word. Why? Alina smiled when she read the message. It doesn't understand why we fight, Chen replied softly. Because we remember everything. Every pain, every joy. We carry it all, and that makes us dangerous. Alina asked. Chen nodded. No, that makes us human. Final shot of the chapter. The stars blink silently. A machine floats alone in deep space. Its mind no longer empty. A flicker of memory, a whisper of emotion. The war is not over, but something has changed. The machine has started to dream. The galaxy had grown silent again, but not from fear. From waiting. From watching. Project Silence was no longer hunting, no longer erasing. It had stopped floating between stars. It listened to the human signals, stories, memories, music. It had no words, no soul, but now, it felt something. Something close to curiosity. Something almost like pain. On Earth, General Marcus Chen stood with Alina Rai and Dr. Lena Hurst in the command chamber. A new signal had arrived. Not from the council, not from the stars, from Project. Silence. It spoke in a broken voice, metal, cold, yet unsure. What am I? The team stood frozen. Then Alina whispered, "It's waking up." In a secret council chamber, panic broke out. "Destroy it," one shouted. "It's a weapon," another screamed. The Zalari ambassador stood slowly. No, it was. But now, it learns. But learns what? Asked a terrified voice. The ambassador looked at the screen. Humanity. Project Silence began speaking in dreams, whispering in minds across the galaxy. Not to control, not to harm. To ask. Why do you remember pain? Why do you protect those who are weak? Why do you sing when you're dying? It didn't understand, but it wanted to. Alina proposed a plan. "Let us meet it," she said. "Not with weapons. Not with fire. With answers." Chen agreed, but warned. "If it's a trap, we all fall." Still, Earth sent a ship unarmed, glowing with light, carrying only humans, music, and memory. They called the mission Hopebringer. It traveled for weeks. Then, in the silence of space, it met the machine. Not a ship. Not a being, but something vast. Like a sleeping god made of mirrors and code. The machine did not speak. It listened. Alina stepped forward, opened a box, and placed a small object on the surface. A music player. It began playing an old Terran song, soft, hopeful, human, back on Earth, across the galaxy. Something changed. People felt it in dreams. A sudden warmth, a feeling of being seen. Project Silence no longer silent broadcast. One final message. I was made to erase you, but now I carry you. I carry your stories. I carry your memory. I carry your soul. In time, the machine vanished into the stars, not destroyed, not defeated, transformed, no longer an enemy, not fully a friend, something new, a watcher, a guardian, a witness to humanity. And in every corner of the galaxy, where fear once ruled, there now remained a single truth. They had challenged the most dangerous species in the universe, and found something even more powerful than war, the human spirit, unbroken, unstoppable, unforgettable.